Did I break it?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I'm the like mic girl who needs to come all the way down to the. There we go. Let's see. Hello. I see you now. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I did break it.
No, you're good. You're good. So I'm. Thanks, Oscar and Laura and Pete and ZYZZYVA and City Lights. I'm so thrilled to be here for a lot of reasons, but this is the first time I've ever read at City Lights Bookstore, and I'm really excited about it. Obviously, we all know it's a mecca. But for me, it's especially important because I actually, I published my first poem in ZYZZYVA in, I think it was 1995, way back when. And I met my husband because he read that poem in this room. So it's all about love. And I'm really excited to read with Matthew and with Dean and to be the sandwich. Like I've always dreamed about being a Dean and Matthew sandwich. So there we go. So I'll read all the, yeah, okay. It's getting crazy up in here. There's one. Okay. So I'm going to read a couple of poems and maybe I'll read some love too. A little love of mine. What the fuck? Okay. So I'll read, and love takes all forms. So I'll read first poem called Blue Planet. More unexplored is the floor of the ocean than the reaches of space. Dark star at the center of a fish's eye, more fully fathomed than what can be imagined between us. This blue planet, not so much underwater as enthralled by it. And my heart closed like red wheat in its chaff. I say floor as though it were for walking, but where's the bottom of it? If the heart has a memory, it opens where you last put it down, in the slate pond at the Conservatory of Flowers, next to the giant lily pads with their roots darkening under algae. It opens in the mouth, flutter of an R at the end of a flower, walls of the alveoli deflated like balloons. Weren't we ash? Didn't the clouds gather under your robe? Wasn't sleep more intimate than sex and the sand it leaves behind? I'm blue now, like the thin film surface of water in a vase, broken by a stem, meniscus dipping below the rim, blue as the bent corona at the edge of the atmosphere, white underbelly of planes overhead, tendrils of smoke exiting their mouths. There were so many forms of love. Another kind of love. Elegy for my father, not yet dead. Sometimes you hope. Tough one. And this steals a line from an Adam Zagajewski poem, which is kind of split up here. The smallest poppy seed in the world still gets stuck in the teeth. So it is with grief. If a fresco feels pain, the wall knows it. Like a collector who catalogs everything equitably, I tried to love you. No distinction between what's perfect and in sore need of restoration. Like the first film in which the train leaves the station, but never leaves the station for the blue blur of the future. What obligation did Adam have to the apple? Or the beekeeper to the hive, for that matter, who takes the honey and leaves the combs dry? When I pass my dead father on the street, will I say about him what Kierkegaard said of Hegel? He reminds me of someone. Father love poem. This one's called Croton, and Croton is the place where I grew up, Croton, New York. Does anybody know where this is?
Yeah.
Croton. You did? I'm on here. Okay, Croton, New
Are you
York.
mortal enemy?
No, God, no. Certainly not. You have to hang together there. Yeah. So you'll recognize our power plants, maybe. And Croton is also a kind of tree that Elizabeth Bishop actually painted several watercolor paintings of Croton trees, so I'm very fond of them. Croton. Some trees grow better in partial shade. Here's the parking lot where my father forced me to apologize for not speaking all those years to his mother, or else he wouldn't pay for college. Even then, I knew how to cut off my nose to spite my face, like Milo of Croton, Olympiad wrestler after whom the town was named, who carried a calf on his back for 4 years to make him stronger. In the woods behind our townhouse, I'd seen a UFO, full moon through the trees, lighting the underside. At the power plant, the night watchman took up his rifle to defend electricity from outer space. The whole neighborhood came out onto the street to watch the slow progression of construction in that complex. That tight fit, barely 3/4 of an inch between the outer walls of each new home. Looking into windows now makes me sad, almost as sad as looking out of them. Not possible to believe in something beyond the trees. Croton in the backyard, genus Euphorbia, not to be mistaken for other euphoric spurges, variegated light shedding its shadow on a waxed leaf, or falling across my father's face, which registered no emotion, like a rabbi holding a mirror up to the face of God. It's a woman's prerogative to be possessed by imagination. I won't apologize for it. Some things persist when landscape enters memory. His back turned away from me, like the trunk of a bare tree, surviving winter by stabbing upwards into the dark and staying put as only trees can do. You know, everything's so serious, and I have a tendency to not be able to write a funny poem. I've always wanted to write a funny poem, so I tried really hard. It's not terribly successful, but it does have one thing going for it, which is it mentions Allen Ginsberg, and I feel like we're in this place of, you know, sort of Ginsbergian exciting. So I'm gonna go for it, and it's about Billy Collins and his automobile. So it's called Billy Collins' Car. And again, thank you guys for coming out, everybody, and Pete for having us here at the historically legendary City Lights Bookstore. And ZYZZYVA, I encourage you, please check out the issues and subscribe to city institutions that need our support. Billy Collins' Car. It's a Lexus, Audi, or Mercedes. The kind of luxury sedan the devil drives in Hades. A little gaudy, but perfectly reliable. Genuine leather interior, state-of-the-art navigation system, burled wood dash, keyless entry, power steering, anti-lock brakes. If my poems were funnier, I'd have a nice car too. Not a Honda or Toyota or some other import ending in a Latinate A. Like the Corolla, designed to be easy to say. Or the Accord, that's meant to imply détente with its driver. My Civic hatchback and I are no longer civil. It's got 181,000 miles under its fan belt and smells funny because my husband left a banana peel under the seat for 2 weeks. That doesn't happen to Billy Collins. His fruit is peeled for him by a personal valet who sniffs the pulp like Ptolemy. Though truth be told, it didn't do Alexander any good. Appointing your half-brother as the royal taste tester isn't that different than hiring a jester who can't juggle. John Ashbury has a 2-car garage, but 3 fit nicely in it side by side, if you count the El Camino. Half truck, half car, like the Minotaur. Half bull, half man, as it was said, easily defeated by an ant tied to a thread. In praise of Stevens, he never drove. He walked himself to work. And you, Allen Ginsberg, what were you doing down by the clutch? Which way does your GPS point tonight? There's nothing to do against darkness but Lisa Hummer and drive. We're traveling the same road here. Ezra Pound would agree. Sometimes when you break down, you just gotta get out and push.